in the small town of Middelburg dates to well over 100 years, as Indian traders came to set up shop, seeking out better opportunities in life. Our crew spent some time there to bring you the history of Islam in Middelburg.
The town of Middelburg is one of the oldest settlements outside of Johannesburg and derived its name as the middle point between the capital, Pretoria, and the gold mining town of Lydenburg. Muslims arrived in Middelburg in the early 1900s as general wholesalers to support the gold mining industry and set up trading shops in the center of the town.
The family is in Middelburg from 1917, and my great-grandfather, I'm the fifth generation in the business. He came here and he put up a corrugated iron shop and he started trading. He used to go with horse cart to Pretoria, buy stock and come back, and that's how he started trading, started this business. Being in a small town, the family ties were very strong at that time. There were 4 brothers. My father and them were 4 brothers, and we all used to live behind the store here. And that's how we grew, that's how the business and the family grew up.
When the gold rush arrived in Middelburg, the town was bustling and Muslim traders had already carved a name for themselves. The Jumas are one of the oldest and most well-known families in town, having traded here for 105 years. They traded in the same building for the last 80 years, and it's become a well-known landmark for people in the city.
My father and I finished matric, and my father asked me to join the business, in which we did, and we traded together for 30 years before he passed on, and then I took over. It's been an up and down ride business-wise. Thanks to the Almighty, things have been doing well for us, and as a family as well, we've been trading, very well all the time.
One of the very first buildings Muslims erect is usually a mosque, and the Awal Mosque can be found literally in the center of town as well.
This particular masjid is the second mosque that had been put up here after there was a need, when the population had grown, to have another masjid. And as we're standing right here now, this is already a masjid that has been renovated for the second time. The first building of this masjid took place in 1997. But 3 years ago, we realized that this place has become too small. So this entire section, as you see, has been now expanded. And if you have to look at how the dynamics of our country are going, the influx of people coming from all over the world, it was necessary for us. Yes, the Muslim community here is very, very tight-knit. You have the pioneer Muslim families that initially had come here. We can refer to them as the Jumas and the Palorias. And thereafter, people who had shops in the far outlying areas, in the farm shops, as we'd say, they had come. And in a little while, we find that, like everywhere else, especially under the pressures of apartheid, Muslims had to do everything together. They had to stick together.
When apartheid came into being, the Group Areas Act forced people out of the city centre and onto the outskirts of town. Indians were settled in the suburb of East Dean, and just like their forefathers before them, went about establishing shops and the all-important mosque.
East Dean obviously was also one of those apartheid-era group areas. And first the Muslims were living right in town, amongst everybody else. They had their little shops, they had a little madrasa there around the masjid area. And when the Group Areas Act was declared, at that time, then this area was given to the Indians.
Democracy in 1994 not only brought with it freedom and an end to apartheid, but also gave the Muslim community a chance to build their own school. This was an important stepping stone, as the school was founded on an Islamic ethos, although open to all.
The Muslim school was established just around 1994, 1995, at the time when South Africa was now undergoing at the peak of its transition. And there was this fear that everything is going to be falling apart, and education definitely was on a downward, there's no two ways about it. At that time, the wise elders of our community got together and they said, this is our opportunity now to take control of education. And they went about, got the whole community together, and we find that they established the Muslim school in this manner, that it was running at the what we call the old madrasa premises, and we had only 6 classes at that time, and we started with about 120 children, and that was the starting point. And if I say today, the Muslim school is a focal community point where the community rallies around. It is brought together by the Muslim school. It has expanded way beyond what our dreams were. We had got up to matric at this point in time. But all this was, at that point in time, just to take control of our education. So it is not only a school now, it is something that keeps the whole community together.
The Middelburg Muslim community has a proud history and has contributed positively to the town. While many similar towns are seeing a brain drain of sorts as young people move to the cities, Middelburg seems to have missed this trend. Eastdene remains popular and the mosque will be expanding in the near future as it accommodates more and more people who are moving back here. It looks like the roots of Islam is firmly planted in this frontier town as the next 100 years loom.